I've taken back the control. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, sir.
All right. So let me go to
Yes,
the
sir.
material master configurations. I think in the last class, what we did was we went into logistics general. We went into a node called configuring material master, where we have defined a screen sequence of our own. We have maintained certain main mandatory or what we call as basic or data screens, and also we have worked with secondary screens, and then we have assigned the screen sequence to a user material type transaction and industry sector. And then we went into this particular node also, how maintenance statuses are determined. I did explain to you, as far as possible use single status fields. I think this is where we stopped it, right? Now we have worked with screen sequence, then screens, and then what next? Subscreens. Within the subscreens, you will have actually the fields, isn't it? Let me show you once again. MM03. I think we have created a material called where we'll type, or I think we have created one more material, right? Let's create some material. Some material I think we have created. Let me just check it. Your plant is 777C, I think Chennai plant. Okay, let me take this material. You see here, these are called views. Okay, all these views are available where? These are all available in a particular screen sequence. So the first thing is screen sequence. Next one is basic data 1, data 2, data purchasing, etc. Screens, main screens, and then additional screens. Right now, having done up to screen level or the section level, now I am working with the individual field level. Okay, so this is what we call it as maintenance of field selections. Okay, so this is where come on, field selections. How you should work with field selections? Let me show you here. First of all, what you should do is, we discussed some time back, in material master, including all views of the material master, you have got more than 900 fields. So therefore, you have to specify, you need not have to specify all 900 fields, but at least you should specify what are all the fields that you would like to have. Okay, so here I'm going to maintain something called field selection, isn't it? So in the field selection, very slow. In the field selection, you have to list down which fields are going to be used by your customer. The Nissan group of companies, which fields are they going to be used? You have to list down here, like this. You see here, I'm listing down the fields. I'm listing down, I have some of the fields over here. I'm listing down the fields over here, right? So field selections, here there is something called field selection property. Okay, there are four field selection properties possible. Okay, so let me just put it down. Oops, give me a moment. Let's see. So field selection property, I would say, is based on, there are the field selections are based on certain things. Okay, so let's discuss what are they. So here, these are my fields. Okay, so these are my fields. These are my fields. Now, I can set the field selections based on what we call it as field status variant, or you can set it based on material type, you can set it based on industry sector, okay, or even transaction code also, okay. So field selection, you can see, is based on either based on field status variant or material type, industry sector, or transaction code. What are the typical field selection properties? There are 4 field selection properties possible. What are they? Okay, so you have to specify what are those field selection properties. I'm going to specify it here, something called hide, display, mandatory, and optional. These are 4 properties which you can set it for each of the material master fields, and these are based on these 4 parameters. Okay, now let's take, you have to actually work with individual field in this case, okay. So you have to actually work with individual field. For example, material number. Now you tell me, while creating material master or to display material master or to change material master, is the material number a mandatory field or an optional field, or you can suppress it?
It's a mandatory field.
It's a mandatory field, so therefore you have to check it here, right? So like this, mandatory for all the options, like whether it is material type or a transaction code or industry sector, it's always mandatory. What about material description? Again mandatory, isn't it? Unit of measure, without which you cannot do. Material group, again mandatory. Explained material status, it could be optional, isn't it? EIN UPC, optional. Purchasing group, either you can make it as mandatory or optional. Plant specific material status, you can make it as optional. Purchasing value key, you can keep it as optional. GR processing time may be mandatory. So like this, you can specify all the material master fields that you are going to use. Okay, so you have to list down all the fields available, or all the fields which your customer is going to use in his implementation project. It could be 100, it could be 120, it could be 50, 60, depending upon which fields are they going to use it. You have to specify, you have to capture this information in an Excel file like this. Okay, so once you capture this, then you are ready to do field selection settings for the material master fields, right? So how to set up field selection property for a specific material master field? How to set up field selection property for a material master field, right? There are 4 steps involved in it. Step number one, identify the technical name of the field which you would like to work with. Okay, so first thing is you have to identify the technical name. Step number 2, select the field selection group. There is something called field selection group of that field, right? Step number 3, go with maintain field selection group, right? Step number D, set the field selection property based on, okay, field selection property based on parameters, you can say. What are those parameters? Field status variant, okay, or material type, or industry sector, or T code, right? So any of these four needs to be used while setting up the field selection parameter. Now, you guys tell me which field do you want me to suppress it, means to hide it, or which field do you want me to make it mandatory? Okay, let's see. I'm in purchasing view, or rather let me go and create MM01, okay, mechanical engineering, material type. Let me go and choose some material type, enter, basic data 1, 2, 3, purchasing, general plan data, accounting. I'm going with it. See here, I would say something like a crank pin. This is my material group. Each, what is material group? Maybe engine spares or something like that. ఏంటండి
ఇంజిన్ స్పేర్స్ కింద వేసుకుని సరిగ్గా
అదే స్పేర్స్ అక్కడ కనపట్లేదు, చూస్తుంది. ఏం లేదండి, లెట్ మీ టేక్ దిస్ వన్ itself. Okay. Now you could see here what are the mandatory fields here. Purchasing group is mandatory field. Now let's see, if you want me to make this purchasing value key also a mandatory field, I can make it. Okay. Also, for example, if you want me to suppress one of the, or rather GR processing time, you see here GR processing time is a non-mandatory field. So let me do it this way. I'll make this GR processing time a mandatory field, and for example, if you do not want something called this material, OB management or OB reference material, okay, so these ones, if you do not want it, I can make it remove from the screen, right? So you see here purchasing group, let me enter some purchasing group. Now enter. Purchasing value key is optional field, so which I don't need to change. I wanted GR processing time. This needs to be maintained as mandatory, or even this one. Whatever field you wanted to make it mandatory, the first thing is identify the technical name of the field. How do you do that? Keep the cursor in that particular field, go with F1, function key 1. You would see this information. Here, you look at this technical information icon. Therefore, here you would see, here there is something called screen field. The first 4 characters, MARC is the table name, and then the last 5 characters, WEBAZ is the field name. So MARC underscore WEBAZ is the name of the field, right? So like this, the first thing is you should capture, you should identify the name of the, or the technical name of the field. Now you see here, field selections, assign fields to field selection group. I'll go into this place. Now, once you are into this screen, you have to identify the field which you wanted to work with. How do I do that? You see here, this is sorting, this is positioning. Let me go with field name by position. I have just captured my field name as MARC underscore WEBAZ, hit enter. Now you see here, mark underscore WEBAZ, goods listed processing time in days. The field selection group belongs to 59. Okay. So once you identify the field selection group, you choose this one and go with maintain field selections. When you click it here on this particular arrow icon, you see in field selection group 59 there are 3 fields available, GR processing time, and of course there are 2 more fields. Okay, so here For this particular field selection group, you set the property on the basis of 4 parameters, either of the parameters. You see here, these are the selection properties: hide, display, required, optional. Whereas these are the parameters on the basis of which you are setting the property for this particular field selection group. Now, what is this material or transaction code? Let me just go with position mm01. What is mm01?
Creation of material group. Sorry,
Material
material master.
master. That is nothing but transaction code. So I wanted to go on the basis of transaction code. Now you see, this is optional entry. If I go with the required entry, this becomes required. Okay. Similarly, so now let me just go and save it. At this moment, if you could look at here, this is not a mandatory field. So therefore, even without giving value into here, system, now you see it's allowing me to move further. Okay. Now you see here, I will once again go with mm01. Do it once again. This time you would be seeing that being a mandatory field, system will ask you, will prompt you to enter. Okay. Now you see checkbox has come. Yes or no? What is it says?
Yes, sir.
So this is how you can make a certain field as mandatory or optional in the material master field. Okay. Similarly, let's say I do not want this particular OB management, OB reference material. I do not want these fields. What should I do? Same thing. Keep the cursor here. Go with the F1 key. Identify the technical name. Right? You see here screen field name MARC_UCMAT. Right? So once you have the technical name, you just have to go to same place. Back, once again. Go with SN fields to field selection group. Go with field name. Maintain it here. Now you see field selection group is 75. Therefore you go with maintain. Now if you go with maintain, you see here there are so many fields available. Okay, there are so many fields available. If you want to set the property for all the uh, these fields together, you can do so. Or because there are so many fields available here, my suggestion would be, okay, my suggestion would be MARC UCMAT, reference material for original batches. Is this correct? Yeah, original batches. My suggestion would be you change this particular 75 to, for example, 299. Hold on. Why is it not accepting? 299. Okay, fields up to 240 is possible. So let me put it as 239. Enter. Now if you see, if you go with this, you will have only one field which is getting changed. So based on, for example, transaction code, look at here, MM01. It is optional entry. Now you see here, I wanted to hide it, save it. Alright, currently it is available. Now I'm going with once again MM01, refreshing the screen. Okay, look at here, maintain some information here, here, and here. Okay, it's still there here. What happened? Is it not saved or what? Give me a moment. Okay, let me just, looks like it is not refreshed. The screen is not refreshed. So I'll just go and do it once again. Okay, just go and add the details over here. Oh, still there. Okay, I assume they would have used field status variant. So what I'll do is, let me just go back. Simply use the previous one, 75. Okay, so here just go mm01. Yeah, that's the problem. So if I go with hide now, right? So let me just once again show you. You can see here now that the entire group of fields, original batch, batch number, etc., everything has been taken out. How? Look at here. In this particular 75, they've got batch management requirement indicator, indicator approved batch record. So all these 4 or 5 fields would have been hidden, suppressed, right? So if you want to do it that way, you can do so. Or if you want to make it optional, you can keep it as optional as well. Okay, so this is how you should be working with the field selection groups. You can also create your own field selection variant. Okay, for example, let's move it 1 sec. Okay, now if you just go into this, okay, this is what we call it as field selection group. If you just go, you see here, this is what we call it as field reference, right? So 0001 or something like that, you can create it. And in field selection 1, what is the status for whether it is hide or suppressed or optional, you can set, you can create your own field references groups as well. So therefore, like this, by keeping the various fields, materialmaster fields, and what property does each field shall have, you can get it approved by the customer. Once you get the approved document, you go and maintain whether a particular field is optional or mandatory or a hide or display. Okay, so this is a one-time activity, so you have to perform it in the beginning of the project, right?
Venkat, what was the reason it's not when you define the field selection group into different one? It's like still it's referencing the old one and it's not like removing from the view.
Correct.
How we can do only that particular field alone?
Right. Let me show you. See, for example, if somebody asks my address, I would say 145 by C, Bengaluru Nagar, near Sai Baba Temple, pin number 5000038, Hyderabad, something like that. Means what? These are different fields maintained in the section called address. That means what? All the fields relevant for a specific functionality are grouped together, and that group is called field selection group, right? So this is how you should understand it. All the fields relevant for a certain functionality, those fields are grouped under one key. That key is called field selection group. In this case, okay, in this case, let me just go and redo it once again. MM0, for example, 3. Okay, I might be having a different material number. If you look at it, you see here batch management, old batch, sorry, original batch management indicator, original batch reference material. These three fields are related to batch management. So what I have tried initially doing it is these all these three plus I don't know, maybe two more, they have grouped together. So what I'm trying to do is, if you want to work with one of the group, one of the field in the field selection group, okay, you have to take out first, save it, and then work. For example, I'll show you. Let me go to basic data to view. For example, you look at here under environment, DG indicator profile, DG packaging status, packaging code. You see here all these things are there, right? Let's say MM01, raw material, basic data 1 and 2, something like that you give it. Okay, under environment, you see here DG indicator profile, DG packaging status, packaging code, environmentally RIBT, in bulk, liquid, highly viscous. I don't know which field is grouped under which field selection group, but still, let's say I'll go with the first one, DG indicator profile, F1. Okay, go with technical name, take the field name, Mara underscore PROFL, right? So now, if you look into the field selection groups, go with field name, you specify it here. If you look at this particular thing, under field selection group, here you see how many are there. There are 6 fields are there. What are they? Dangerous goods, packaging status, indicator, highly viscous. Look at here, highly viscous, dangerous goods, packaging status. Do we have any packaging status? Yeah, DG. DG packaging status means dangerous goods packaging status, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
hazardous.
All 6 are there, Venkat. So
Could be, all 6 could be there. Packaging code, do we have packaging code? Yes, it is. Okay. Environmentally RIBT, relevant. Environmentally relevant. In bulk or liquid, that is also there. And then highly viscous. It means what? All these 6 fields are grouped under one field selection
125.
group, that is 125. So in such cases, if you set the property, now you see here, you are setting the property not on the basis of uh, a single field. This is on the basis of a field selection group itself.
Yeah.
So మీరు అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తున్నారండి, ఇలా చేస్తున్నప్పుడు if I go with MM01, it means what? If I'm keeping it hide, it means the entire group becomes hide.
Correct.
మీకు ఒకవేళ ఒక్క ఫీల్డ్తోనే మీరు పని చేయాలి అనుకుంటే what you should do is, look at here, you double click this. ఇక్కడ 125 ఉంది కదా, ఇవన్నీ field selection groups. This is field reference. So what I'm saying is, now you go and create your own field reference, a field selection group. ఈ ఒక్క field, what is this? Goods indicator profile. Okay. For example, ఈ ఒక్క ఫీల్డ్ మీరు తీసేయాలనుకుంటే, what I'm saying is, you just work with this particular thing as 238. For example, you save it. Okay. ఇప్పుడు then you go and maintain it. ఇప్పుడు ఇది ఒకటే ఉంది. ఇది ఒకటే ఉన్నప్పుడు, now you see here, I'll just go with this one, hide, save it. And also, ఇంకా మీకు ఏమైనా డౌట్ ఉంటే, what you can do is, for example, this is dangerous goods, assume it is a raw material, you just go and make it hide. If you still have any more doubts, you can just go once again, MM01, make it hide, save it, right? Now you go and create a material. చూసారండి, now only one field has gone. So this is how you should work with, provided if you want to work with a single field. ఇది మొత్తం ఇంతకుముందు ఒక గ్రూప్లో ఉంది. గ్రూప్ ఏమన్నా దాన్ని మీరు సెపరేట్గా చేయాలి అంటే యూ హ్యావ్ టు క్రియేట్ యువర్ ఓన్ ఫీల్డ్ సెలెక్షన్ గ్రూప్ ఫస్ట్, ఆ తర్వాత ఆ గ్రూప్తో వర్క్ చేయాలి.
Last time we did know, Venkat, so it was not popping up. So that's why.
Correct. But the thing is, I did not save it. You know where?
Okay.
I have to save it exactly here. ఇక్కడ నేను సెలెక్షన్ గ్రూప్ చేంజ్ చేసి ఇక్కడ సేవ్ చేయాలి. Last time I did not save it like this. I went into here.
Yeah. So now the 75 is also there, no?
Sorry?
The field selection group 75. Whatever the 125.
120.
The earlier one.
Yeah, 125. If you go into 125, okay, let this be as it is. You see here, even the below one is also meant for the same purpose. Okay, so you are saying 125. If you look into 125, what you would see is rest of the fields, not the first one.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. This is automatically taken out.
Yeah. Okay. So because this is a standard thing, so let me just go and reset the same. Okay. Or else I can go back to here. 238. I'll change this to 125 so that everything will be there in place. Are you getting my point? So in real time, in case if you want to take out or separate out a single field from the existing field selection group, you create a new selection group, assign it to the field which you wanted to work with, and then work with the field selection group. Okay, so this is how you should be working with. Right, so you have to set the field selection properties for all the fields in which your customer is interested. Some of them could be mandatory, some of them could be optional. ఒకవేళ తనకి ఏదైనా ఫీల్డ్ అక్కర్లేదు అనుకుంటే you can suppress it. Right, is it clear? So the first node and second node both are meant for the same. I always go with first node because it is easy for me to work with here this way. Why? Whatever the field I wanted, I will get the field name, technical name, go with this, I'll give the field name over here, right? And then I went into this place, go with field selection. Whereas in the second case, if I go with this way, you can also work with this way. But here, these are not based on the selection, fields and names, but it's based on the field selection group. You have to go like this. Is my field available here? No. Next group. Is my field available here? No. Next group. Is my field available here? Next group. So this is a laborious process. I don't recommend and I don't practice this. So what I go is, I go with the first node, right? Depending upon your comfort level and your convenience, you can do the same functionality either from this second node or from the first node.
Yeah,
right?
If the person knows the group, field selection group, you can go on and enter there.
Exactly. But how do you know the field selection group? There are 925 or 945 fields available. It's not that you cannot know it. If you know it, you are like 100%. You can just straight away go into the second node and then do it.
Yeah, otherwise, the first one is better if you don't know.
Yes. Right. Next one. You see here, define industry sectors and industry sector specific fields. So far, here, while creating Material Master, I've been using mechanical engineering as the industry sector. Now I wanted to create a manufacturing industry, something like that. Okay, this is the place where you can define it. Okay, what is that we are using? Nissan, right? Nissan is automobile company. Do we have automobile industry here? No, it's not there, right?
Automotive, sir.
ఉందా ఇక్కడ?
Automotive.
ఈ లిస్ట్ లో ఉందండి, లేదు కదా?
Last but one.
ఓకే, ఎవరో క్రియేట్ చేశారండి దీన్ని. ఆటోమోటివ్ అని క్రియేట్ చేశారు. Or maybe this could be, no, it's created by somebody. If it is standard one, it wouldn't be appearing as YRZ. Right? So I can manufacturing level. So let me just go and create a manufacturing industry, something like that. How do I do? You see here, either you can go with new entries and then you have to specify the field references. Okay. So again, this field reference you have to create yourself. How to create a field reference? ఇక్కడ చూసారు కదా, field selection groups low. When you go with, you take some field, okay, anything you can take it. When you go with it here, something like this, you see here, if you go with new entries, the one that you see here is field reference. For example, let's say you wanted to create a new field reference, something like U, right? You just have to maintain for this field reference U, what are the, can you just give me a moment please, I'm getting a call. Hello? Hello? Okay, right, thank you. I'm sorry. So, for this field reference, what is the property that you wanted to maintain for field selection group 1, 2, 3? By default, everything is optional only. You just have to save it like this, okay? Then come back here, come back here, come back here. Here, define industry sector and industry sector specific field selections. You go into this place. If you want to define your own industry sector, either you can go with this or you can just go and copy it, something like this. New entries. Let's say you here, okay? Whatever industry sector you wanted to maintain it, maintain it. Something like manufacturing. Okay, here under field reference, because you have already created a field reference here, okay, your U should appear over here. Come on, F4. Okay, like this, you can go and create. So this U, field reference, manufacturing industry, this will also control the field selection properties. How? మీరు ఏదైనా ఒక ఫీల్డ్కి ప్రాపర్టీ సెట్ చేయాలంటే అప్పుడు ఈ ఫీల్డ్ రిఫరెన్స్ యూని తీసుకుని చేయాలి. ఎక్కడ? ఈ పర్టికులర్ ప్లేస్లో ఫస్ట్. దిస్ ఇస్ వే యూ షుడ్ బి డూయింగ్ ఇట్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ సంథింగ్ లైక్ దిస్, marc_webaz. If you want to go with it for this particular thing, if you want to set it, for example, you don't want all these things, then here you see here these are the field references. Here you should find U. So if goods recipient receipt for processing time in days, if you don't want this, or if you want to make it as mandatory, you should go and work with U like this here. Are you getting my point, Andy? This is very, very important. Setting or making, or what you call setting up materialmaster is not a mean task. It's a very, very big task, a central task. You have to spend a lot of time on the materialmaster itself in the beginning of the project. So therefore, once this materialmaster is rightly configured, rest of the things will follow in place. If your materialmaster is not maintained properly, if the configurations are not done properly, you keep getting issues throughout your project, whether it is MM or SD or PM or PP, whichever module, you keep getting issues. You have to solve one by one in all the stages of the project. So therefore, it is always advisable and recommended, the recommended practice is give one person who knows about materialmaster properly, give the entire materialmaster configurations to that person only, because he will be having a better idea or understanding, because he is the only guy working from end to end of the materialmaster configurations. Okay, so now having saved your manufacturing industry sector, if you just go and create a materialmaster now, you should be able to see manufacturing also here, right? So this is how you should create your own industry sector and industry sector specific fields. How it controls for a specific industry sector, you would have created a field reference using which various field selection groups properties are maintained by that field reference, which is assigned to your industry sector. Any questions, Andy? Hello.
Venkat, so you have given that is just in the
field reference. Yes.
Yeah, field reference. You have defined you as a manufacturing sector.
Yes.
Because you defined and you went back and assigned that one to this particular sector.
Correct.
Initially, you defined the field reference, then you went and assigned this one to the method.
Correct,
you have
sir.
specified at the front one as a, you can give anything, no, not only you, because just that is
I can. Yes.
Yeah.
You're right, sir. That's correct. Okay, something like this field reference, right? What happens is this will indirectly control this. Okay, so in between you have various fields. Okay, in between you have various fields available here. So all the fields, I would say field 1, come on. Just give me a moment.
So based on this field reference, we can go and maintain the field selection.
Correct. I'm sorry. I think it's easy doing it here. Okay, so you have various fields assigned to a field selection group. Okay, right? Once again, I'm writing it here. Field selection group 1. Control C. Control V 2. Control V 3. Control V 4. Control V 5. Okay, so if field reference అనేది this field reference will have all the field selection groups. All these field selection groups are maintained for a material master. Okay, let me just slightly modify this. Okay, I would say here it's going to be your material master, right? Your material master in turn will refer industry sector. Okay, so this is how it works. Are you able to visualize? Field reference, let me put it U here. This is my field reference U. Okay. Industry sector also, only for the namesake I have defined U. It could be U or it could be anything. One second. So whether it is U or anything, it doesn't matter, as long as you have to have one field reference, right? Let's have a look at this. Every material master will have number of fields. Each field would have been assigned to a certain field selection group. For all these field selection groups, you have a field reference assigned to it, and this field reference is indirectly assigned to your industry sector as well. Okay, let me put it this way. Control Z. Right, so this is how it is linked in. Hope it is clear now. ఇంకేమైనా క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నాయండి? ఆర్ అర్థమైందా సార్ శ్రీధర్ గారు?
Yes, I guess. So just
right? So once again, I mean, let me tell you this way. Field reference, you have to create it first, and for this field reference you will be assigning the field selection properties to individual field selection groups. Field selection groups are part of material master, and material master will refer to industry sector. Industry sector will also have a reference to a field reference U. So that is how the field properties will be controlled based on the industry sector.
So by default, when you create the field reference, all the existing field selection groups are going to be assigned automatically.
100%, you're right. Either automatic option ఉంటుందండి, sorry, yeah, optional option. You have got 4 field selection properties, right? Hide, display, mandatory, and optional. So by default it will be optional. మీరు ఇట్లా క్లిక్ చేసి వెళ్తే, when you go with new entries, here you can create it. You see here all the field selection groups will be there, and they are all optional. మీరు కావాలంటే ఇక్కడ ఇచ్చుకోవచ్చు. If you want a certain thing to be displayed or required, you can just go and do it. By default, yes, your understanding is correct. All the field selection groups are assigned to a new field reference. Yes. With field selection property as optional. Okay, so this is about that one. And then there is 2 more notes here. Define plant specific field selections and plant specific screen selections. In case if you want it, a certain field to be made as mandatory in one plant and the same field to be made as optional in other plant. Possible, right? Sometimes when you have the same material extended to both the 2 or 3 plants, in such cases maybe in one of the plant it's a mandatory, in other plant it's optional. In such cases you have to identify that particular field and then come here, right? So my plant is 77C, then go with field selections. Look at here, did you remember these things? KDE, VAL, BPQ, SZ, ఇవన్నీ గుర్తున్నాయండి మీకు?
Yeah, this is the statuses.
Exactly, statuses. What is K? K అంటే ఏంటండి? Basic data. D, status D means MRP. Status E, purchasing. Status V, sales. Right? It was L, location, plant. B, that is business, which is accounting. P, production. Q, quality management. Right? So like this, these are all the various statuses. Let's show it. For this particular plant, field reference automatically assigned is 0001. ఇది ఎట్లా వచ్చింది అంటే, because you have copied your plant from 0001 plant, and for 0001 plant this is the field reference assigned to it. మీకు కావాలి అనుకుంటే you just go and create a new field reference, something like 777C. Same ఇందాక మనం అనుకున్నదేనండి. You just have to come to this place here, right? Just go with something here and then go with new entries here. Then you define 77C. ఇది మీ this particular field reference you have to assign it to your, you have to assign this to your 777C. Okay, back now, once again back here. Okay, so now look for your 777C plant. Only for the namesake I'm giving the same names, but otherwise also you can give a different name in order to have consistency in the naming convention. I'm giving the same names, but otherwise you can use different names as well. So now you see here. So next time what you do, in case if you want to make a certain field as a mandatory field or certain field as an optional field, now you see here, I'll just show you here, /n/mm01. Okay, for example, manufacturing industry. Manufacturing, we have just went with manufacturing, right? So you choose manufacturing. Material technique and create cheledu. So let me just go and use it. Basic data 1, 2, 3, purchasing. I'll just go and see here 77C plant load. For example, something like here, some each material group. Now you look at here, basic data 1, basic data 2. you see here there is something called plant specific material status. E field which plant specific and right, and also purchasing value key, which is not mandatory right now, but I wanted to make this as mandatory for my 777C plant, right? Application you have to look for F1, go with the field selection, sorry, screen field name Mara EKWSL, right? What else I should do? I should go back to this place, back once again, assign to fields and field selection groups, go with this field, enter, and then this is the purchasing value key. Just go and maintain. Here is 77C ఉంది కదండి, ఇక్కడ you just have to make it as required entry, right? Now you see, okay, if I go with this option now, okay, ఇక్కడ అడిగిందా purchasing value కి అడగలేదు. Now you see here I am once again going with same thing again, okay, material group, okay. Now you see here I'm giving this one purchasing value key become mandatory now, isn't it? Without purchasing value key system will not allow me, you see here, isn't it? Why? This is maintained for plant 777C. Now you see here /NMM01, I wanted to go and create a material. This time I don't give 77C, but other one is 77P, isn't it? The plant. Look at here. Now you guys should tell me, will this purchasing value key is a mandatory field or an optional field?
Optional.
100% optional.
Optional
Why?
it is.
Why?
Because there we selected it as a optional, so
ఎక్కడండి? Where did we select
We
it
have
as
made mandatory for the 77C, sir.
Exactly, there you are. Because now the field selection is controlled by the field reference maintained for a particular plant. Where did I maintain that? It's here. Okay, if you go back to your plant specific field selections and plant specific screen selections, here for your plant 777C, because of this one it is controlled as a mandatory field. Are you getting my point? So this is how I'm just replacing it with the normal one, okay, or else there is no problem, you can keep this one also, doesn't have no problem at all. Okay, are you getting my point? So this is how you should work with it. And then there is something called define lock relevant fields. We just try to have what is the meaning of it. This function can be used only for the materialmaster for industry, not for the materialmaster for retail. Idi only for the industrial materials. This functionality cannot be used for the retail industry. You use it to define which fields are the materialmaster lock relevant. If a metal is locked in materialmaster maintenance, the fields flagged in this activity as lock relevant can no longer be changed. Okay, so it means what? If you maintain a certain field as lock relevant field, that field cannot be changed. Okay, now I'll just show you one example. I think we have, I'll just go with MM02. Okay, what is the material that we have created? I think this material, is it available? Basic data 1 and 2, just have a look at this. Now you see this PC, I can change it in case if I want it, isn't it? Because it's in a editable mode, isn't it? Now let me see what is the screen field name. Mara means, okay. Now you see I wanted this to be made as a lock relevant so that this field can never be changed by anybody, right? Just go and look for the field Mara means. Okay, now you see here, if I make this as lock relevant field, okay, now you just go and MM02. It's still there. Maybe it's not refreshed. If a material is locked, the fields flagged as lock relevant can no longer be changed. Okay, so this is the basic functionality of this is this one. All right. So this is how it is being used. So is it clear to you all about all these 4 or 5? Lock relevant fields is not so important, but in case if you want to set a certain field as lock relevant, then the change cannot be done for that. Okay. Now let me move on to the next one, that is basic settings. So here there are
Venkat,
yes sir.
that lock relevant field can be that also defined based on transaction code or
No sir, no, there is no option like that. It's only a specific field. It's not based on material type, not based on plant, not based on transaction code.
Suppose in case unit of measurement is wants to change this, is it possible to release the lock?
ఈ లాక్ తీసేస్తే మళ్ళీ మారుతుందండి.
But that is already safe custody గా ఉంటుంది కదా సార్ అది.
అది మీకు ఇవ్వరు కదా సార్, అందరికి ఇవ్వరు కదా.
ఇవ్వరు.
End users కి ఇవ్వరండి. SPRO transaction ఇప్పుడు for example you ask these Lakshmi, Pavitra and Radhika, they are end users now working in the purchasing department. Do they have access to SPRO? No, certainly not. Only the consultant will have access, and even though consultant will have access to SPRO, he cannot go and change as if he wanted. You have to have a valid business reason, and also it needs to be approved by the process owner. Valid reason ఉంది కదా అని చెప్పేసి మనం చేంజ్ చేయమండి. Okay, you have to request the process owner saying that based on your request or based on your requirement we are changing this one, please approve it అని చెప్పేసి మీరు ఒక ఫంక్షనల్ స్పెక్ క్రియేట్ చేసి ఆ ప్రాసెస్ ఓనర్కి పంపిస్తే he approves it. Only then the document is approved, you will be allowed to make a system change.
Also the stock should be 0.
ఏంటండి?
ఇందులో స్టాక్ కూడా 0 ఉండాలి, లేకపోతే మళ్ళీ మార్చలేరు.
అవును కదా, మరి స్టాక్ కూడా అబ్సల్యూట్ 0 ఉండాలి. ఓకే yeah, yes Pavitra,
can we do a specific lock for specific plant?
అది ఉండదండి, అదే అడిగారు శ్రీధర్. I said like you cannot do it based on the plant or transaction code or material type. This is basically maintained at table level. మీరు అందుకే ఇక్కడ చూస్తే కనుక if you look at it, all the fields that you see here, చూడండి ఇక్కడ CILP underscore or -AUFSG అంటే ఇది టేబుల్ లెవెల్లో ఈ ఫీల్డ్ ని లాక్ చేయమని చెప్తున్నారండి. This is not based on transaction code, not based on plant, not based on anything else. Okay, next.
In case of scrap sales, the according to case unit of measurement changes. Is it how can we do?
ఏంటండి ఎక్కడ మీరు అంటున్నది?
స్క్రాప్ డిస్పోజల్స్ లో
స్క్రాప్ డిస్పోజల్సా? ఓకే,
స్క్రాప్ జనరేట్ అయిన తర్వాత డిస్పోజల్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా సార్.
యా
ఆ డిస్పోజల్స్ లో అకార్డింగ్ టు జనరేషన్ ఆఫ్ లాట్ అక్కడ యూనిట్ ఆఫ్ మెజర్మెంట్ చేంజ్ అవుతుంటుంది కదా.
ఎట్లా అవుతుందండి? మీరు ఇది మాస్టర్ డేటా సార్, మీరు ఒకసారి మెయింటైన్ చేస్తే అలాగే ఉంటుంది. మీరు చేంజ్ అవ్వాలని ఎందుకు ఉంటుంది? ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ టుడే యూ హ్యావ్ జనరేటెడ్ a scrap of 10 kilos. Tomorrow you have been working in 3 shifts, and in each shift you have generated 10 kilos each shift, so it will be 30 kilos.
But in case of the kilos unit of measurement kilos లో ఉన్నప్పుడు
ఏంటండి కిలోస్?
యూనిట్ ఆఫ్ మెజర్మెంట్ కేజీలో ఉన్నప్పుడు లాట్ ఎక్కువ జనరేట్ అవుతే లాట్ కింద డిస్పోజ్ చేసి.
వాట్ ఈస్ లాట్ అండి? వాట్ ఈస్ లాట్?
బల్క్ క్వాంటిటీ, బల్క్ మోర్ దెన్ కిలోస్ బల్క్ క్వాంటిటీ యాజ్ ఇట్ లాట్ కింద లిఫ్ట్ చేయొచ్చు కదా.
లాట్ ని మీరు స్పెసిఫై చేయాలి. ఓకే, లాట్ అంటే చాలు కదా, 1 lot equals to 10 kgs or 1 lot equals to 10 pieces అని యూ స్పెసిఫై. అట్లా చేస్తాం కదా. లాట్ అంటే ఏంటి? లాట్ అంటే నా ఉద్దేశం ప్రకారం 10 pieces, మీ ఉద్దేశం ప్రకారం 100 boxes కావచ్చు. Are you getting my point? So you have to specify what is lot.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Right. Any other questions? All right. Then let me go with basic settings here. So in the basic settings, you have got three things to specify. Okay. The first thing is define output format of material numbers. So far మనం మెటీరియల్ మాస్టర్స్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నామండి. క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంటే చూడండి ఇక్కడ దిస్ ఇస్ హౌ ద మెటీరియల్ నంబర్ గాట్ జనరేటెడ్, రైట్. దీన్ని ఏమంటారంటే ద ఫార్మాట్ విచ్ ఐ హావ్ హైలైటెడ్ ఈజ్ కాల్డ్ లెక్సికోగ్రఫిక్ ఫార్మాట్. Let me just show you one thing. Can you please tell me what is this number?
0000111.
Is there any difference between this and the above number?
Before the figure,
Sundaragar, I can't hear
No
you.
difference.
There is no difference. Therefore, this is called leading zero format. Okay, whereas this one is called as lexicographic format. Which one is easy to read?
Second one,
Second.
lexicographic format.
Yeah, right. So you have got these two options. Okay, you have got these two options. Okay, now we are going with basic settings. Under basic settings, you are working with material number format. Okay, material number format. Material number format is of two types. One is with leading zeros, second one is with lexicographic format, right? This is by default. Sorry, lexicographic format is by default without even can you just give me a moment? Sir, నేను మళ్ళీ కాల్ చేస్తాను, మీకు క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను. Okay, so let's have a look at it. Go to change material number format, right? The first thing that you should understand is material number is an 18 character key. Are we going to use 18 characters every time? Need not be. That is, I have not seen so far any material whose length is more than 10 characters. But you can have up to maximum of 18 characters, right? Like I said, this lexicographic format and leading zeros, these are two formats possible. If you want to, go with leading zeros, I'll just show you this one. Just have a look at it. /nmm01. Okay. For example, basic data 1 and 2. Now you see, this is leading zeros format. Do you wanted this format? Then you go with leading zeros. By default, as I told you, lexicographic, you need not have to check this. Even without checking also, as I said, by default lexicographic, system will takes care of that. Only in case of leading zeros, you check this indicator. Then you see here there is something called material number template. You can specify, okay, some template numbers. How do you want it to be available? Okay, you see here, for example, length of material number is 10. Your material number is something like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, if you specify in the template, as you see, after 2 characters you have specified hyphen, and then after 7 characters or 8 characters you have specified one more hyphen. In that case, the format will appear that way. Just to 1 1 2 hyphen 1 2 3 4 5 6 hyphen. Okay, I'll just say enter. Okay, does not match the template. Okay, let me just once again go with it. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18. Then you save it. Okay, Hmm. Not matching. Why is it not matching? Okay, I'll just say hit enter. Okay, just give me a moment. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Length does not match the template. Come on. Is it possible? One, two, three, four.
Please start change, sir.
Hmm?
Sir, mali start change, sir.
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Z. Like this, you can give it a name. Okay, right? I have now saved it. Now have a look at this. /n mm01 123 77C. You see here the format. Okay, so whatever you give it over there, it will be picked up like this, right? So in case if the customer wanted a specific format, what you can do is, for example, let me show you here. For example, the format that I have added here is something like this. Okay, instead of this way, okay, maybe one sec, let me go and change it. Okay, let me go and change it. XX and material number is how many? 1 2 3 4 5 4 5 6 7 8 6 7 8 5. Okay, let me save it like this, right? /n mm01. Okay, look at here. So in case if your customer wanted to have his own way of numbering, where XXX is planned, Y 8 Ys, 2 5 6 7 8. This is actual material number, right? Z. Okay, maybe whatever you wanted. Okay, purchase organization or anything which you wanted to give, or purchasing group, PGRP, right? So like this you can generate your own way of generating the number. The thing is, you have to, for this particular template, you have to build an algorithm. Your ABAP will do it. So therefore, if your plant is 77C, then 777C, material number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 0 1 2. Okay, a purchasing group. Let's say, what's a purchasing group? Let me put it as purchasing group as 0001, right? So like this, you can have 777C. You can have materials up to all 9s, isn't it? Whatever purchasing groups you may be having, combinations, right? So what is the maximum number here? All 9s. So your ABAP has to generate an algorithm in order to generate numbers between this number to this number. Are you getting my point? Similarly, for your 77 what you call Pune plant also, if you wanted it that way, Pune, ఇలా మీరు పెట్టుకోవచ్చండి, provided if you have your own algorithm. Are you getting my point? So this is extraordinary cases, although I have not seen it, but this is possible, right? So in case if you want to have your own way of template, this is the way that you should work with, right? So I'm not doing anything over here, I'm simply keeping the standard changes. Sridhar, you are saying something in the middle, I'm sorry.
Nothing like that. So you're going to continue at 11th at your time 12 o'clock?
I'm actually thinking of stopping it now.
Yeah, in between I'm sleeping, so that's why I just...
Okay. All right, then let me stop it here itself. Okay, so I'll continue tomorrow and complete the materialmaster configurations.
Sir,
Yes, Pavitra, Chapati.
so can we make this template based on the material type?
Why not?
But where do we have the option for that?
You don't have option, Pavitra. Like I said, మీరు ఒకటే టెంప్లెట్ క్రియేట్ చేయటం అవుతుంది. సో అప్పుడు ఇన్ కేస్ ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు గో విత్ దిస్ వే, దిస్ XXX ఎక్కడ స్పెసిఫై చేశాను, దిస్ నీడ్స్ టు బి యువర్ మెటీరియల్ టైప్, ఇజంట్ ఇట్? దిస్ ఈజ్ యువర్ మెటీరియల్ టైప్. మనం ఇంకా మెటీరియల్ టైప్ వరకు రాలేదండి. ఐ విల్ టెల్ యూ టుమారో, రైట్? సో ఆల్ ద మెటీరియల్ టైప్స్ విల్ గెట్ సేవ్డ్ ఇన్ వన్ టేబుల్. సో ఇక్కడ XX అనేది it could be numbers or it could be alphabets. It should go into so and so table and pull it based on the number, based on the, you see here, while creating materialmaster you will be giving material type also, isn't it? ఇక్కడ మీరు మెటీరియల్ టైప్ ఇస్తున్నారు కదా, ఇక్కడ ఇచ్చిన మెటీరియల్ టైప్ ఈ డిస్క్రిప్షన్ కి ఏదైతే కీ ఉందో ఆ కీ వచ్చి ఇక్కడ డిఫాల్ట్ కావాలి ఫస్ట్ ప్లేస్ లో, రైట్? సో యూ కెన్ గో విత్ దట్ వే ఆల్సో.
సో అది మన టెంప్లెట్ లో ఇస్తామా, లేకపోతే ఇట్ ఇస్ సమ్వేర్ ఎల్స్ వి హావ్ టు గివ్?
లైక్ ఐ సెడ్, అది అబాప్ అది మీకు ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో ఇస్తాడండి.
ఓకే.
ఆ ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో తను ఆల్గారిథం బిల్డ్ చేయాలి. ఆల్గారిథం అంటే తెలుసు కదా, లాజిక్.
యా యా సార్. సో
ఆ లాజిక్ బిల్డ్ చేసి తన ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో ఇస్తాడనమాట. మెటీరియల్ మాస్టర్ ఇనిషియల్ స్క్రీన్ లో మెటీరియల్ టైప్ డిస్క్రిప్షన్ బట్టి ఆ మెటీరియల్ మాస్టర్ మెటీరియల్ టైప్ టేబుల్స్ లోకి వెళ్ళి ఆ ఇచ్చిన డిస్క్రిప్షన్ కి రిలవెంట్ కీ ఫర్ ద మెటీరియల్ టైప్ తెచ్చుకుని దానికి అపెండ్ చేయాలి నంబర్స్. ఆ నంబర్ని అపెండ్ చేసినప్పుడు సెపరేటెడ్ బై హైఫన్ అట్లా రాసుకుంటాడు వాడు కోడ్ లో.
ఓకే సార్. సార్ ఐ హావ్ సమ్ క్వశ్చన్స్.
చెప్పండి.
మన మెటీరియల్ మాస్టర్ క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు వీ హ్యావ్ మెటీరియల్ గ్రూప్ కదా సార్?
అవునండి.
సో కెన్ వి యాడ్ న్యూ లిస్ట్ టు దట్ మెటీరియల్ గ్రూప్?
చేస్తాం కదా.
ఓన్లీ స్టాండర్డ్ యూజ్ చేసుకోవాలా మనం?
చేస్తాం కదండి. మీరు ఒక 1-2 days అయితే అయిపోయి చూపిస్తాను.
ఓకే సార్. అండ్ ఇంకోటి వన్ మోర్ సార్, యు ఆర్ క్రియేటింగ్ ఎ మెటీరియల్ మాస్టర్స్ అండ్ with the same description we are creating multiple material masters, but I want my user specific that no two material masters should have a same description. This can be possible?
Actually, generally speaking, no two materials will have the same material master description. I think in copy చేసినప్పుడు I might have forgotten to change the description, right? So no two materials will have a same description. Can I build the validation? Yes, I can.
Yeah.
But can I build the validation? Yes, I can. But it's a building validation on the text alone will reduce the system performance. ఏం చేయాలో తెలిసేటప్పుడు క్యారెక్టర్ బై క్యారెక్టర్ కంపేర్ చేసుకోవాలి. అది చాలా టైం పడుతుంది. ఇండెక్సింగ్ ఉండదు దానికి. సో దట్ ఈస్ SAP recommends do not build any validation on the text strings. String అంటే తెలుసు కదా, గ్రూప్ ఆఫ్ క్యారెక్టర్స్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ లో. సో do not build any validation on text strings which reduces system performance. But can I do it? Yes, you can, but at the cost of performance.
Okay sir. Yeah, and thanks sir.
No, పర్లేదు చెప్పండి. ఇంకా ఏం క్వశ్చన్లు అడగండి, నో ఇష్యూస్.
సార్ జస్ట్ మీరు అక్కడ ఇది లాస్ట్ 4 digits పర్చేస్ గ్రూప్ అని క్రియేట్ చేశారు కదా,
నేను నా ఇష్టం వచ్చి పెట్టాను. సుందరరావు గారు మీరు ఈ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ పెట్టచ్చు. ఈ అమ్మాయి చెప్పినట్టు పవిత్ర చెప్పినట్టుగా XXX is material type, YY is actual number, I would say ZZZ is plant. ఇట్లా అంటాను నేను, నా కస్టమర్ ఇట్లా కావాలి.
నేను అది కాదు అడిగింది, నా పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూ ఇది కాదు.
చెప్పండి.
This is purchase is 4 digits sir, purchasing group. Is it?
పర్చేసింగ్ గ్రూప్ వచ్చి 3 digits.
Okay, any 3 or 4. This is the purchasing group means in the purview of buyer or any separate.
పర్చేసింగ్ గ్రూప్ అంటే బయర్ కదా సార్, ఈ మెటీరియల్ వీడే కొనాలి అని
కదా.
అవును.
సపోజ్ ఎవ్రీ రొటేషన్ బయర్ చేంజ్ అయిపోతారు కదా, అప్పుడు ఇక్కడ మార్చుకోవచ్చు నెంబరు.
ఎట్లా మారదు కాబట్టి పర్చేసింగ్ గ్రూప్ ఇవ్వకూడదు, అది రైట్ కాంబినేషన్ కాదు. ప్లాంట్ మెటీరియల్ టైప్ అండ్ మెటీరియల్ నంబర్ రైట్ కాంబినేషన్.
జనరల్ గా మనం ఆఫీస్ ఆర్డర్స్ ఇస్తుంటాం, వర్క్ షెడ్యూల్ మార్చుకోవడానికి రీషెడ్యూల్ చేస్తుంటాం కదా.
అవునండి. పర్చేసింగ్ గ్రూప్ జనరల్ ఇండస్ట్రీలో ఎట్లా ఉంటుందంటే ఎనీ బయర్ క్యాన్ పర్చేజ్ ఎనీ మెటీరియల్. మీరు పనిచేస్తున్నారు కదండి పవిత్ర అండ్ రాధిక, మీకు ఎట్లా ఉంటుందండి మీ ఆఫీస్ లో?
డెఫినెట్ మారుతుంటుంది. ఒక నెంబర్
we'll have separate purchasing groups for each individual.
సపోజ్ రా మెటీరియల్, ప్యాకింగ్ మెటీరియల్, ప్రొడక్షన్ ఎఫెక్ట్ మెటీరియల్ ఒక బయర్కి ఇచ్చేస్తారు, ఎలక్ట్రికల్ ఒక బయర్కి, మెకానికల్ స్పేస్ ఒక బయర్కి, ఇన్స్ట్రుమెంటేషన్ ఒక బయర్కి అలా ఇస్తాం. అప్పుడు ఈ రొటీన్లో ఈ గ్రూప్ ఆ బయర్కి ఆ గ్రూప్ ఈ బయర్కి వెళ్ళచ్చు. అటువంటిప్పుడు ఇక్కడ మార్చిన అవకాశం ఉందా?
లేదు, ఇవన్నీ స్టాండర్డ్ అండి. మెటీరియల్ మాస్టర్ నంబర్ ఒకసారి జనరేట్ చేసిన తర్వాత దాన్ని మళ్ళీ మార్చడానికి ఏమి ఉండదు.
లాస్ట్ 4 digits
ఏం మార్చడానికి కుదరదు. ఇప్పుడు చూడండి, ఈ మెటీరియల్ మాస్టర్ ఒకటి ఉంది. మెటీరియల్ మాస్టర్ మనం క్రియేట్ చేసాం ఇందాక పొద్దున, రాదర్ నిన్న. ఓకే, ఇది ఉంది. ఈ నంబర్ ఇదేనా? సారీ, గివ్ మీ ఎ మొమెంట్. /MM03 ఈ నంబర్ ఉంది కదండి. ఈ నంబర్ నేను మార్చుతాను అంటే నాకు పాసిబిలిటీ ఉందా? లేదే, ఈ నెంబర్ మారదు ఇంకా. సో కాబట్టి మీరు మార్చుకోలేరు.
ఈ నెంబర్ కదా, నెంబర్ పక్కన పర్చేస్ గ్రూప్ ఉంది కదా.
అదే సార్, అది పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ నంబర్ కదా. 18 క్యారెక్టర్స్ లో అది కూడా పార్టే, కాబట్టి మార్చలేరు.
అది మార్చలేం కాబట్టి, సో మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద ఆర్గనైజేషన్ దే డోంట్ ప్రిఫర్ ఎంటరింగ్ ద పర్చేసింగ్ గ్రూప్స్.
ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ.
దట్స్ వై సార్, పర్చేసింగ్ మాక్సిమం మాకు 10 digits గా వస్తాయి.
అవునండి, జనరల్ గా ఎప్పుడు 10 ఉంటాయి. 18 పెడతారు అంటే as per standard it is 18, but no, I mean at least I have not seen it. I should not say that nobody uses 18, but I have not seen so far. All right, so let me stop the session now and we will meet tomorrow at 10 a.m.